September 30th, and in this video I'm going to share with you a nice call I did with a friend, astrologer from Argentina. I was in this channel earlier this year to discuss where we are going into and what's the coming, specifically 2.5 months, 3 months of this 2020 going to be look like, and how we need to consider the future of whatever will come through this intense time. And hopefully it will be interesting. We are very much going to a brand new period and era, and we must to be brave. And by listening to this conversation, you will probably understand more what attitude and approach you should adapt, specifically in the last months of 2020. Enjoy it. And I'm here again with Daniel, astrologer from Argentina. We were speaking earlier this year when no one really understood where this COVID is going to go, but we started speaking, introducing how the planets are going to be impacting us. We will arrive to this in this chat. And here we go, here we again. How are you,
How are you
Daniel?
doing, Osher? Hi, glad to be here, man.
I'm okay here in Portugal right now after long travels in the world, inside of this craziness and blockages. Coming out from Argentina, considered to me like an exodus. The way to Argentina before COVID started was for me like the salvation. I was much better to stay in Argentina than being in other place in Europe or Israel. And in Spain, it was nice. I was in a very little area in Mallorca until the restrictions started to rise up. And together with the new quarantine in Israel, I realized that Spain is also going to close up. So Portugal is a green country, and decided just to move here in order to allow some flexibility. And honestly, we are going to discuss how intensified the next month ahead. I'm also thinking about going back to South America, but to Uruguay. But this is an option just because of different cracks that I'm discovering here. So how was it for you in the last months? It's so severe quarantine in Argentina. It's unbelievable.
Yes. More of the same. It was really, here it was really cold. So people really didn't have the strength to really break the quarantine. So everyone just went along, and because of the extreme cold, it was really hard to go outside. Even so, everyone just stay in. And now that the season is changing,
and
everyone is starting to go outside.
And the peso is continue declining against the dollar, and people are feeling
it will continue forever.
Yeah.
Of course, until the end of the year when everything will blow up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
When I was in Argentina until July, I always thought that this is like on purpose. They are doing to avoid the dues to the international community of all Argentinian that never arrived to agreement with the loan with the countries that gave money, and finally they arrived to sort of agreement. But it seems like they are keeping themselves like, we are miserable in quarantine, don't bother us, we don't have money right now, leave us alone. It was something like this. But it seems that so many people could also country take advantage of this chaos in the order that we knew so far. And it's very demanded, Jupiter wise. The need of freedom is like to find the cracks between the collapsing system, Saturn, Capricorn. We will discuss about it more later on. So jealousy that you are in a springtime, and here it's starting the cold. And let's see how it's going to take us to the end of the year.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Oh,
hard because we just have Mars going retro, so the energy of really fire is going to be. And now in the next days and the first days of October, in sidereal astrology, Mars is going to enter again in
sidereal.
Pisces. So it's going to
Hmm.
be really, really watered down, the energy of fire. So it's going to be,
Chaotic, chaotic.
it's
It's
not
like,
going to be really easy. I think that the energy that can bring a little reading is Jupiter going forward again, but with Saturn and Pluto again forward, it's going to be like it never ends, something like that.
but I very much aware. I feel the stress inside myself the last days, and I'm telling everybody how we are in a very critical and intensive time. Just Saturn, the machine starting to move, Saturn moving direct, and Jupiter is now pushing
Yeah,
forward, but ready to meet with Pluto, which is the fear and the need for freedom, and how we are going to face uh, this dark, this dark phase in order to liberate ourselves. I think that this, in every
yeah,
chaos, this is an opportunity. And it's very bad right now to fall into fear because it's going to be some reasons for fear in the world. They could declare different things. And I also suspect that this could be something that arriving from sky, something that also government are going to lose control. And it could be an asteroid that just right now NASA is declaring that an asteroid is going to enter before November to the field of the Earth, and maybe we will see a second moon. So imagine just a little rock from an asteroid falling to Earth. What could it be? We are going to Aquarius, so it's so much many things about space and changing of the structure. They are trying to so much hold the structure, and we are seeing it's all corrupted. We saw it already. And I tell people, try to behave like the planets. Don't just wait, oh, what will happen? Mars will square Pluto is already eruption of volcans, even eruption of volcans beneath the water that could create new islands or sort of those things. And the election are coming. There are so many scenarios. What do you feel with
yes.
your
I think it's going to feel like I think it's going to feel like some kind of a race to a final countdown because all this energy that we feel uh, from the beginning of the year to March, even before, from the end of 2019 to March, when everything stopped, it was like the feeling of a race that we were being like drawn to when the planets collide, right? Now we went retro, all that energy gets accumulated. We feel it. We feel like we are accumulating all this energy that we don't know where it's going to go. We feel it by intuition. And now that they were stationary, we are feeling like we are in some kind of a pause. We are in a standing by situation. And they charging. And now, in the next few weeks, when the three planets will be completely direct, I think it's going to feel like some kind of a race that people won't know exactly why they feel this pull into the future. You know, the planet Jupiter, the planet in search of truth, that represent all the people finding out the truth. When it's going to be different because when Jupiter entered the conjunction, it realized all the truth, all the conspiracy of Pluto, right? Now get out, it got out of the conjunction, now it said, now I learned the truth, and now when it enter again, it's going to transform everything. It's not going to be the same, but with the three planets forward, it's going to be like the Saturn, the need for control, right? Pluto, the obsession with secrets, and Jupiter, the search for truth is going to feel like a race, and people won't know exactly why they feel it, like they need to achieve something until the year end. But it's going to be like this pull, like this pull.
I'm telling to
And
people that who will right now, as this week, Pluto is moving direct, and now 3 of them will start moving direct, and they are still in Capricorn. And before Saturn is leaving Capricorn for 29 years, it's good time for opening a company, for initiating something that will take you to the future way. But it's confusing because the structure we are basing right now is going to change completely, and with the entrance to the future of Aquarius is a little bit unknown. And adding to this, that Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio is a little bit of a dark tunnel, is a little bit. Do you hear me? I think it stopped.
I'm sorry, I completely lost now.
What you lost? What you heard last?
I lost you when you said, sorry, man, I just can't hear
Okay.
you at all.
Yeah. Now you can hear me?
Yes, the picture froze, but I can hear you just then. I stopped hearing you when you said a good time to open in a company, and then it started to break down.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So opening a company or initiating anything that it's going to be the new structure of our future. Because we are right now settling. Imagine what will be the natal chart if you are right now buying a new, I don't know, starting a project. The project that will start right now with 3 planets moving direct, that will never go to interact with each other the way, in the coming 2 months, going to be very successful. Strong potential of what's going to be initiated in the next 2 months. But because Mercury is going to be retrograde in Scorpio during this time, we are very much need to trust our intuition and to take a lot of risks. Usually people, when Mercury is retrograde, tell, don't sign contracts, don't do this, don't do that, because you may be mistaken. Now we cannot waste this time that is the last degrees of the big planets in Capricorn. We need, within the time of Mercury in Scorpio, to take major risk, even to be punished, even to die, but to liberate ourselves. We cannot be under the fear or frozen. We must to act. We must to free ourselves in so many levels. And I believe that is going to manifest itself in so many people around the world as big anarchism and protest, like the need for breaking the wall. But on the same time, because Saturn is a builder, is about building a new structure for your future. So if you're not agreeing with the current situation, change it already and connect with people, Aquarius, with people that could generate a new cooperation, a new standard, a new business, a new model. And I think it's going to be a lot of opportunities after the wall will break once Jupiter and Saturn will enter to Aquarius. But right now we are in a very strong momentum, crazy activation of this October, November. And indeed, it could activate some disasters in the world, but it's not for disasters. It's in order to liberate ourselves to a better future. And we need to see each person how it's going to take advantage of this chaos, that police cannot catch you, that that everything is falling apart. So now you can run, and now you can build, now you can connect with others. When everything is quiet and the fences are defense, no entrance here, no entrance here, you're always under, But it's going to be a moment here that everybody, like exploding to a door. And if you are taking advantage of this chaos to your own benefit, to what you want to catch right now, it can work to your favor. And indeed is chaotic, and it's not a clean zone to take chances, but we must, otherwise we will be trapped by the freedom of others that will give us order.
Yes, yes. It will be something like it's going to reach a moment when really law and order are not going to be there from the state. So yes, it's going to be like some kind of a window where it's going to be some kind of like really everyone will be able to do whatever they want. So the
Exactly.
ones that were really oppressed by some kind of a oppressive system, like they will be able to liberate themselves. On the other hand, others will be taking advantage of it to, of course, take advantage of others. But that is going to be the interplay because I think it's going to be some kind of wave from the like we will be receiving some kind of wave from the future, like echoes from the conjunction in Aquarius. And Aquarius is, if you think about it, is air that represent motion, is fixed, that is permanent, and Saturn that is control. So I think it will be like permanent motion of control. So it is yes, it's going to add more to the
It's
chaos
it.
and is the opportunity to gain that kind of in order to make changes. Of course, you need permanent motion of control. Uh,
No doubt that governments are using astrology and will make use of those transit also to apply and to operate all the 5G concept and how to control people and using all the technology they've installed so far. And already in Israel, together with a second wave quarantine, they just operated yesterday the 5G in all Israel. So the Saturn entering to Aquarius is already, if it's alone, is giving them the entire control as we saw the shutdown in March. That's what happened once in March. But because this time is meeting on the exact first degree of Aquarius with Jupiter, and they will spend the entire year together on this zone, it won't be easy for government to use smoothly on all the control on people. And I think that on the same time, despite of the restriction on us, we should use with all the decentralized platforms together with a cryptocurrency that is going to explode in this year. Like it's going to be like a war between two different structure that also all the blockchain, the Bitcoin is speaking about consensus of smart contracts. This is the highest technology level. You cannot hack it. You could not break the blockchain. It's based on very specific order of all the database. So as more people, Aquarius are connecting to this, it's going to give it power that is a great push against the structure that everybody are valuing the dollar. So it's going to be a battle between how we are valuing things by dollar or by Bitcoin or by any other thing. This is just one of those examples. But this is, I just want to aware people that despite that we are going to feel all this energy starting to activate in October forward and into the election, we cannot sit quiet. We cannot wait now fearful, waiting to them, even that in Israel they are trying now to control and are putting more restrictions in Europe now. But people should find beneath the surface the hacks in order to move. It's like moment of move. We cannot stand passive. We must understand that this is a few more layers to the freedom of people. And
yes, everything that we did, that we do um, during from here on out to the end of the year will bring the fruits in 2021. So all 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 the decisions, all the actions that we take, all these 3 months are going to really be fulfilled. We are going to gain everything, good or bad, whatever we do. In the moment that Jupiter crosses Saturn and most Aquarius in 2021, there, right then we are going to really see everything just coming out, all the truth and all the fruits. So really is the moment to really plant all the seeds, to really make the labor for what we want to see next year. Right now, it will be like the year of working to gain next year. So yes, it's not really a time to just
To
let
sit
pass.
down or to wait,
Yes, yes,
or to be dependent in any government that will save your day.
yeah. Especially these last month where everything will be moving forward. Exactly.
And very accelerating. I think I think I should move. I think that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that people that will use technology are going to take a very major advantage of the situation, and
Oh yeah.
because this is
When
Aquarius.
goes retrograde, when Mercury will go retrograde, I think it's going to be like some kind of a major, and Pluto too, major hack, but some kind of a deep fake attack. All kinds of deep fake editing and manipulation of all kind of pictures and data and videos. Like nobody will be able to trust the communication system. And
Yeah.
not to mention the markets, because Mercury rules economy and Pluto is crisis, and it will be,
Yeah, it
nobody
could
will
definitely could
understand
be a
anything.
shot of the stock market, or any reset of different companies that won't be able, and people will lose money because of this. It will be an issue with trust about different ways of trades and the digital platforms that governments created, all the derivatives, and what will push people forward to something that is more technology advancement, trustful way. But the entire COVID period so far very much benefited people that are doing online businesses, and very much pushed a lot of people to start doing a remote working. So we are understanding by implementing this new paradigm that is possible to work from wherever, that money is digital, and I don't need my boss to give me a check in the end of the month in the old way, enabling and opening for us new opportunities of location independent. You can live wherever you want. You don't need to open a bank account, because there are so many online accounts right now with PayPal, but not just PayPal. There are wallets, digital wallets for getting cryptocurrency, that you still can use it as a regular currency. So all this COVID really woke up a lot of innovation that people never took a chance to try. And by understanding that we are not anymore needing the old school structures, is already the doors that we need to continue pushing forward. There are so many opportunities. If everyone in the world will support you in 50 cents or $1 for your service, and you are arriving to a lot of people, each person on earth will be considered very rich. You just need 5,000 people supporting you with $1, and you are supporting with $1 another person, and suddenly each person has $5,000 income. It's like we are supporting each other. I give you $1, you give $1 to other, but this is starting to circulate. When we stop being dependent in the one boss, that I limit your salary to in Argentina maybe it's $500, that you will work for me all those days. Suddenly we are connecting with people, and the ability that the internet is connecting the world to each other. We don't need bosses. We just support each other due to beautiful service that each one do what exactly he likes and knows to do best. And this is one of the freedom that we can search for, and no need to burn the streets or to break things. It's just stop agreeing to be part of the structure we knew so far. Of course, more things should fall before for
Oh
people.
yeah, they're gonna fall. Sure, sure.
Oh,
Before the end of the year is going to be like a massive collapse,
bankruptcies,
surely, because
bankruptcies.
Pluto is collapse, and Saturn, of course, is a control collapse. Saturn is control, Pluto is collapse, and Jupiter makes everything super huge. So it's a super control demolition.
On
But
people, on
yes, it's like a gateway to Aquarius, which is the energy that is entering. Is exactly the constant checking for updates. So it's going to be much like that. Like you mentioned, there is in the internet there is so many options of digital wallets, and that is going to continue to increment because, like I say, is the permanent motion of control. So right now we have a quantity of digital wallets, but that is going to continue to change. It's like in the past we saw that certain platforms were like, remember, everyone remember MySpace. It was the original social media. Then there was Facebook. Then there was YouTube. Now it's coming Telegram, then WhatsApp, and so on. And
but
that is going to be like that.
all those last that you mentioned is just 10 years old. They all started in 2010 with 2010 the iPhone 4. It was my first smartphone, and on the same year everybody started joining uh, Facebook, Instagram,
Uh,
WhatsApp, and all this started. Just 10 years of social revolution, digital social revolution. Now, and on the same time in 2010, also Jupiter was in Aquarius. It was the Arab Spring, all against the dictatories in the Arab countries. Now it's going to be the anarchism or the rebel against the capitalistic system. Um, and it's going to be
yeah, it's going to
very,
be
very,
like some kind of the energy that is coming is like people are looking for some kind of really stability. And what platform, for example, can I trust? What platform should I settle on? I choose this. This is going to be like the one that is going to be stable in the future. Well, Aquarius energy is not that, because it's it will represent gains, right? But in exactly a liquid form, right? The energy that is the gain that you retain is Taurus, like your solid assets in your savings is Taurus.
mhm.
But right now, Uranus is there for like 7 years. So there is no stability there in savings. And Aquarius is the liquid, the money,
The
the
internet,
gamings that you
the
are
internet.
constantly exchanging.
Yeah, it's the
The
exchanges
constant
and the
exchange.
internet.
So stability is not coming. It's like you are going to constantly having to check for new platforms that you can trust, and new wallets that you can trust. And on top of that, you are going to constantly check for updates and for that is the energy that is going to get
Exactly,
gains. The
exactly.
constant updates for
People,
information
yeah,
and for
exactly.
constantly checking out what is true
Yeah,
and what is not. Exactly that.
exactly,
It
exactly.
comes stability.
People that will not read the news of technology or won't be updated in their computer or something like this in 2 months will be totally in other word. Sort of, we will need always to be on the front of the technology, but in a very, very quick and intense time. You will need to invest a lot of hours of learning. And we see it already in the cryptocurrency. People that haven't understood already the Bitcoin concept right now having issues to understand the DeFi market that is doing farming and things that I still learning. But it's going to be so many new ways and concept of how to create wealth and fluidity and liquidity of not anymore liquidity. It's liquidity is of liquid. It's going to be exchanges of energy to transform energy of different values. We're going really to, as you say, to be on a constant and stable updates and going into technology that old people or people that are basing on safety. Yeah, I saved this and now I have this and now I have this in the solid way, could not handle easily the time. Finally, everybody will need to handle, but it's important to be already. You are Aquarius, right? You are Aquarius.
No, I have a planet on Aquarius, but
You have a
I
lot strong Uranus, I know.
yes, I have the node on Gemini that is trining Aquarius, right? So I have a good influx there, and of course, right now the nodes are in have entered Gemini, so
Yeah,
I am able to pick up some
yeah.
information.
You must.
Let's
You
say
must.
a little easier, so I can see a little ahead of time.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
understand that energy. It's like exactly like the pandemic and the lockdown brought this constant change, trying to catch up what is real and what is not, what the hell the government is telling me is real and what exactly is the reality. Is people dying on the street? No, what all that constant checking of what the hell is true. Well, that is coming
I'm
even
telling
bigger because
I'm telling you why it's something important to worth to tell. I traveled from Argentina to Spain in July, and you know it was so much fear. You need to feel this form that you are okay and you have blah, so many things. I'm telling you that in 12-hour flights, first of all, it was like a travel without flight attendant. No one came to you, and most people without mask or until here we are sitting. Some people will say no, and then I arrived to Spain, a paper, yeah, no one looking, no one what, and even here from Spain to Portugal, it's and other friends that is now traveling again. It's like this is part of the example. This is much more fear than what is really it, and the airline company cannot control all this. If they will do so much restriction, no one will buy. So it's like they're putting the alert, but who has the courage to go with the uncomfort restriction, like it's just passing. So we need really to ignore the blockages in a way and to be very bold in order to pass through these monsters that are coming and intensify themselves in many different events that are going to appear in the coming 2 months and a half, and to liberate ourselves and to relocate ourselves and to use this uncertainty in the world when things wants to be stable to do the the ideal structure for our life, because what we are building now and actually what we started building in this year will be the structure and the platform for generation ahead. It's like even our life.
yeah, it's going to be like it's like a leap of faith because from here to the end of the year is going to be like some kind of a void, right? Like we're really plunging into a void that a lot of people will not be able to see what's coming, and it's like a leap of faith. You have to,
Yeah,
like that situation when there is law, but at the same time there is no law, there is no control. So you have to take some kind of a leap of faith and really check um, for the real interactions and
and
know
look what
so
happens
much
tomorrow. What
for
happens
the fake
tomorrow?
concept.
The beginning of October with the full moon in Aries is just reminding you reminding us, each one, remember your power, remember who you are, remember what you want, and have the power to push. And this is not just Aries. Mars is squaring Saturn and ready to square Pluto, that is also about to retrograde, to move direct. So it's so much activation of the platform of our life that we can create big things. But unfortunately, when people are zombie, the governments are implementing big things as well. And this is the fight right now between people and government, between Saturn and Aquarius. In Aquarius, people have the power when we are connected to technology and understanding of freedom. And I think that something exterior is coming to participate in the coming 2 months of this 2020 to give the gong of all this, what people to awake us, because the energy want to support people, not just to give who will gain. So maybe it will be any major natural event that will shock people. Maybe it will be any technological crisis or something economically, or any things that also related to the space that.
Yes, completely. I think that it's going. If you think about the energy of the end of the year, right? That is the energy that is pulling us. Although many can see it, right? You have to think that Jupiter is the higher spiritual sphere, higher spirit. Saturn is what contains that spirit, right? And then you have the eclipse on the Golden Gate, that is the most spiritual point on the entire constellation system, the Golden Gate, where it will be, where is the Milky Way, where the last eclipse of the year will be. And you have right there, the moon will be the gate to the spiritual, right? When the moon comes out, we lose connection with the physical world and we go to the spiritual. The moon represents the gate to the spiritual. The sun is the gate to the physical, where the sun comes out, we wake up, and we come in contact with the physical, with the visible. So right there between the total solar eclipse of December and 7 days later, the Great Conjunction, is like we have a complete and absolute gateway between worlds. So it's going to be like some kind of a really spiritual awakening, not only to the truth of like yes, many things that the government is saying is a lie, but a lot of awakening of the nature of this world. Finally, a lot of people are going to have some kind of a like space in the sense of astral, like there is something else.
You know, what's so
Like there is
interesting?
something else
In the
coming.
last week, I was coming around a video from Mexican. I think is a Mexican guy that interviewed someone from Chile that he's a very spiritual personality and having different connections. And he communicated that on the October 24th, which is very important date by the configuration that I'm seeing occurring, is going to be an arrival of something from space, of any extraterrestrial or something like this. However, he's speaking about a DNA activation of awakening or something. But usually people are not awakening without getting electric shock. You know, like wow, or whatever voice. You know, you should, like in orgasm, that someone is and changing consciousness. So we need to arrive to a sort of a edgy by any event, by any shock, mostly shock, because the Aquarius is very much like electric shock. And Aquarius
Yes.
is electricity. It's like something. And also we are seeing already the shift of the magnetic fields of the earth.
So this is already indicated without even our
Yes,
awareness. And now,
also Jupiter is the god of lightning, so you have more electricity there. And you have Saturn, which is dead, and Jupiter crossing Saturn is like resurrecting, right? Because Pluto represents hell, transformation through hell, and resurrection. Pluto, transformation through hell and resurrection. So where Jupiter crosses again Pluto is going to be like the resurrection, and when it crosses Saturn, it's like they coming alive again through like that, like an electric shock. I say this like
but it could,
in terms
but
of
you know,
technology.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it's like Jupiter entering Aquarius is like I can breathe again because Aquarius is air, right? Uh, and Jupiter is like the liberation, right? Coming outside Saturn, it crosses death and comes alive again. And in terms of technology, I was coming with a synchronicity that is like Jupiter also represents the energy of Jesus, right? But he's
Right.
also the god of lightning, and Saturn is the machine, right? And Aquarius is the airwaves, the ether, right? So those three energies combined is like saying, like having receiving Tesla, the great electrician magician, on your phone because it was called the electric Jesus. So it's going to be like having the electric Jesus on your phone,
But
something like that.
this is like also the 5G implementation in many countries.
Yeah, yeah,
That,
it's completely synchronized.
but it also could be a burn off or a shut off of an old system. Who knows? You know, with such a big debt of the U.S., someone is wishing to 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 hit the button and to delete all the debt, all people that are owing money, you know, to start brand fresh, you know. So they are speaking about the digital dollar. So it's like, let's start fresh. Let's delete all the money that each country is owing to each other, and let's start a new game. Who knows what will provoke it also? Um, what sort of event that suddenly all the backups, I don't know. It seems like crazy, but it's very uncertain timing, specifically those 2 months that are summarizing the intensity of all the setup of this 2020.
Yeah, yeah, especially because right now we just went through Virgo, right? In Western astrology. But in sidereal, I think the sun is still in Virgo, and Virgo is the season of reset. So it's going to start now. It's going to be like in the next month. We really are going to start seeing the reset. And on October, on the 23, 24, like you say, uh, we enter, we start
Scorpio.
crossing to Scorpio, and Scorpio is it rule business and it rule debt.
Mhm.
So yeah, we are going to see it right away.
It's
We're not
it's
going
about
to
it's
have to
about
wait much.
death. With Scorpio, it's about death, muerto, and about debt,
The,
deudas.
the, the debt.
So
Yes, yes, exactly.
both things
Owning. So
are sort of in a moment of uncertainty
are
and
coming up right now. We are not going to have to wait. Yes.
yeah. And Venus right now is in Virgo, very near in the sidereal to the wheat of the Virgo, like waiting to spread the wealth in different ways.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
this is very, very interesting, but very important point to remember where we are entering and not where we are ending. Even that this end of the tunnel is going to be very dramatic, like the end of the movie you mentioned many times in your video, like the end of the movie
Yes,
that is taking like the drama, wow, and suddenly is a good end that a new telenovela, a new chapter is starting from 2021. and very interesting to focus on where we are going, what is after the tunnel. And also very important to remember that during the first month of 2021, Uranus is going to square Saturn. So more than just having Saturn in Aquarius together with Jupiter, is also Uranus is going to square for months Saturn. So it's an even higher chances of the fight between the new and the old, between people and government, between anarchism to a need for control and structures. And very interesting because Jupiter is going to be very running, strong, quick. Once entering to Aquarius, is going to wish all Aquarius. And by May 2021, May, in 5 months, is going to end all Aquarius, is entering few degrees to Pisces, and then will retrograde. But once it will enter to Aquarius, is going to square the nodes and also the eclipses. The eclipse will square Jupiter in Pisces. And it's a very, another taste of the deviation that seems like a war between two different realities. Those that are believing in something religious and those that are believing in science. It will be something very, it's like no rest.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like really like an interplay because I don't see much like a war, but because when Jupiter and Saturn meets, it's like they become one. They're not on an opposition, right? So it's like the old and the new will come together, like the old belief. Imagine religion in a spiritual sense, but like the unknown. That's the old way, really. We don't. There is a spiritual side, but it's really ancient, and we don't really understand it, and it's really invisible. But now it's going to be like we'll be able to calculate it. Like technology is going to reach a point where we really are going to be able to interact with that dimension, and we're going to see like it's part of this, but we will be able to calculate. Like right now, we are like, imagine explaining it in some sort, like the spiritual dimension is right now, right here, but we are not able to really see it clearly. But from 2021, we'll be able to see it clearly. It's like when the lockdown was announced and there were they presented these drones and these cameras that can see through the temperature of your body, like showing you an invisible dimension, right? We can see temperature, but those cameras can see temperatures. Well, now we'll be able to actually capture, like with films or with other means, the spiritual dimension. We'll be able to calculate it, including all the astral and astrological. And the thing that I came to the conclusion is that Jupiter and Saturn, like you were mentioning the end of a movie, that I repeated a lot, where Jupiter is the god of the planets, right? And Saturn is the machine. So they coming together at the end of the year represent exactly a narrative mechanism that is called Deus ex machina, or God from the machine. That is a mechanism that is all over movies and all over media that you can search for it right now. That is exactly a moment in the last moment of the movie where everything seems to be unresolvable. That is exactly what we are going to enter right now in the last 3 months. That everything seems that is falling apart and cannot be fixed. It's called the Deus ex machina, that is the God from the machine. Is like in the ancient times, it was literally like a Roman god or Greek god coming down from a crane, from a machine, like you say, from space or from the other world, and it started to somehow fixing the lost, the unfixable, the things that cannot be fixed, and it starts just coming together.
You are
And
speaking
you
like
see like some
Superman.
kind of
Like Superman is
some
coming.
miracle. And you say, wow, Deus ex machina. That is going to be like, we now going to the abyss, and when the conjunction comes, it's going to be like, wow, it's starting to fix things.
But you know,
Like,
it's not because we are not living in a movie. It's part of a movie, but we are actors in the movie. Each movement of each
yes,
individuals creating the movie that each one of us is just observing on the rest. And it's very important to remind people that movies in general are ruled by Neptune, by Pisces, by the fantasy. And a lot of people are addicted to Netflix, to TV. I'm watching. And this is not time to be just a watcher. You must to be a player and to use those energies and to imitate those energies to your favor in order to save yourself. And if you will behave as this Deus ex machine by yourself and to save yourself from the matrix, the machine, the matrix we are inside, you also will be supported by many miracles that suddenly things will match up to your favor. So it's not that if one is just was sitting, the humanity will arrange. The frustration, the situation, the events that will come will create different individual responses that will, each one will behave with what is needed to his needs and surroundings. And together in the collective, we will see a savior situation. But it seems to me that still, in, even that we will not notice to how many changes are going to occur in 2021. Because look, in 2020, everybody are updated with what is happening in the world. All is shut down. All is stable. What's new? Nothing. We are waiting. In 2021, it's going to be acceleration and so many changes on the same time that it will be hard to even watch where we have got, how we are arrived to here. What happened? We are in a race. We are all sweating. We are changing. We will just be able to see those changes maybe from the end of 2022 as the North Node will enter to Taurus, and it will be already. Oh, so let's see now. As we are going to accelerate the energy of the North Node in Gemini, it's going to be more of changes, adaptability. And this is the need of flexibility and very good invitation for doing yoga or whatever. Flexible in your mind, in your breath, in your way of work, in the way of living, all need to be flexible because the labyrinth of the upcoming months going to be very narrow and very slalom inside. And we need to allow these things to happen. We must be very adaptable. And with technology and with different options and solutions that always will appear, suddenly this platform, suddenly that platform. All Facebook fate is really to end, and hopefully they will end soon. A lot of people are zombie with this, feeling that is a free platform. We can publish a lot of people are publishing their business with Facebook because it's free and I arrive to people. A lot of garbage is there, and the way they are using our data is not favorable. And it will create naturally communities of like-minded people that are solving specific problem solutions to their own lifestyle. And we just need to be prepared by whatever event to come to take control on our life and to start the amazing evolution that we're going to rise now from the beginning of next year. It's sort of actually optimistic, because we could focus only on the scariness that may happen and that's the way they control us, by fear and punishment and limitation and restrictions. And as I could fly between countries despite of the restrictions, finding your, you know, this
Yeah,
is
here
like,
on the street, sometimes you see people wearing masks, people not wearing masks, there almost no one controlling. Sometimes you see
yeah,
some cops passing. It's like
they cannot control
that
so
is
many
part
people. They're
of
doing what
everything
they want.
that is coming. Is like part of what is coming is like that the really control structures is also a part of that, is in part illusion. Is there, is not there. Uh, some time ago, I made a prediction for the Argentinian president. There is a lot of astrologers making. You have the move.
No. I just changed the.
Some time ago, I made a prediction for the Argentinian president of what the next waves for him were coming. Everyone really wants to see him fail because of course, he's the face of all these chaos, the quarantine, the lockdown, and soon after, really, I was saying that for the alignments with his chart, it was going to start really failing and collapsing, and it was. He really started to really make mistakes and showing that he's not really on control. And soon after, he made, after I made a video, he made a mention in an interview that he himself made someone made for him, someone that know him, made for him an astrological chart, and that he was destined to rule from the ashes like the phoenix. So all the astrologers were happy to that the president mentioned astrology. It was some kind of a big deal, and all the news channels start to really acknowledge that the people in power and the politicians really use astrology, are really astrology buffs, because that is also something that is going
Since
to come up
the
as well.
the
This is something that was always there, like the people in power and that in touch with occult societies really deal with astrology because it's
the entire all the Anunnakis and those that actually created our civilization actually came from the Aquarian realm and taught us about astrology and the outer world. This is why Uranus is an outer planet, is above Saturn. This is about the other dimension that in the lower dimension we could not accept. So people that consider to be logic, no, I'm not believing in this. What I see, what I hear, this is what I believe. And Uranus is telling you, listen, use your sixth sense. Now, before we are finishing, what is your insight or projection to the US election and what the US is about to go to?
Well, exactly. I was actually making a video about it, but not using so much astrology, because I made, well, it used astrology, but it also used something else, because I made a video about Trump destiny in 2019, that he is going through the same pressure that went on in the 90s because of the alignment opposing his
try to go to the point.
His big planets. But here is the thing. First of all, that he is passing. He is crossing through what is called embedded astrology.
Who is
Trump.
he? Trump. Okay.
Right? That is the big election that everybody is paying attention, right? So,
okay.
Trump has the moon where Saturn is going now, right? Saturn is crossing his moon. That is something that is very in Vedic astrology is called the what is the name?
Okay, doesn't matter.
I'm
And
entering
this is, and doesn't matter. And this is representing from your own point of view.
the Sadesati. The Sadesati is
And
a period of 7 years that is crushing, a lot of pressure. But from that comes resurrection. So at the end of the year is going to be like a total collapse from him, especially when we enter the Milky Way, and then it's going to be like some kind of
Daniel,
resurrection. But
Daniel,
when him collapses, everything will collapses.
okay, so I just want
Yes.
to be short and simple without giving the natal chart explanation of him. To your point
Yeah,
of
yeah.
view, Trump is ending his career in this
It's
election.
like a collapse, like he's going to almost die, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Also in the tropical astrology is a lot of indication that this is a sort of a mission completed. And also we cannot forget that every Saturn Jupiter conjunction around 20 years, it was an assassination on the row. And this time when they are meeting for the first time in air sign, should be an end of something, like some psychics spoke years ago about the last president. And what do you think about Biden? Because both of them are representing, specifically Biden is representing the old institution, the old structure, the Saturnian point of view. Trump is still Uranus representation by being different and the opposite of politically correct. So also looking in the chart of the United States, it seems like the United States must pass through a major crisis. And this is going to be combined because the energies are showing, specifically in 2021, like something that reminds civil war in the United States. And also the United States born from civil war when Pluto was in Capricorn and Saturn was in Capricorn. So this is coming back right now, and the energies are closing here something. Maybe this is part of the big changes that we are just preparing people to how to look at. And I always speaking like the children, Uranus, also the children, Aquarius, the children, need to be prepared how to be responsible when the teacher slash leader slash father isn't in the room. How we are behaving when this is suddenly non-right, strong figure to lead the people. So hopefully we will build good structure to be organized and to know how to behave correctly without so much chaos.
But yeah, because exactly that was the point of all this pandemic, was a rehearsal for that, because constantly we were receiving fear through the news. But when you go out to the street or in the airport, like you say, there is not much control. So when there is no control around, how the hell do we manage ourselves? And that is what is coming. In the past days, Netanyahu really says exactly what is coming. He said that he used a very specific word that in the very, very simple. He said abyss. That's what is coming. It's like a void, like there is no control. So that is going to give people the chance to really organize themselves and really responsible with each other, because if we really want a system where we can really defend ourselves from really opportunistic people, criminals, common criminals, and political criminals and financial criminals, all these things really has to collapse. How the hell we can have a system where we can really people can really participate in that is really what is coming. The constant Aquarius is that, the constant participation in the structure of the system. And for that to come, the really government structure has to collapse, all of it. The entire security system, the entire financial system, the entire
And this is so shocking.
judicial system.
And this is so shocking. And also the Vatican, also all the Christianism house, sort of. And this is also explaining what is coming from May 2021. And also, all the religious centers in a way. Because we are going, as right now, the virus is showing us that we are all one family, human family on earth, suffering from the same. From 2019, everybody started saying that their government is corrupt. People starting to realize that we gave the power to something that is not justice. And once gradually less and less people kept on their religious tradition, not going to church, not going to synagogue, it was already accumulating process of liberalism, but now it's something global that human being on earth will need to restructure. And it will take process. It's not something in one day, but when the first structure is falling, it's creating chaos. Because at the beginning, we don't know what to do. Everybody wants to take advantage until we realize that if we are creating a new structure that isn't a pyramid, everybody can get access. And this is speaking about smart contracts and things that couldn't be manipulated. It should be based on consensus. And we will see. Very interesting time ahead. And I must to end because I must to start here another meeting. Was lovely seeing you, Daniel. We will maybe discuss another more time in this year with the changes that will appear somehow, because we are expecting that those 2.5 months are intense, and depends where we are in the world.
So intense. All the energy accumulated is about to be unleashed. Nobody will understand anything. It's going to be like
but we must take advantage of this too, and to let the old structure of our life, that structure the way we work or we live or we are having our routine, to change to what is better for our soul, to our being. And this is exactly the period inside of the chaoses that will come, that actually we need this chaos, because in this chaos, each one that knows already what he wants and how could run through the halls. So we need this loss of control in order to liberate ourselves from even the structure of our ancestors and of our family tradition. So we all need to be prepared to action and to liberation. So people that wants to focus on the fear, what is coming? But we need this, violence in the street. And then you could go to where you wanted to go without ticket, without, and then but it should be something that is not just for vandalism. It should be something that will be in divine justice, no one to steal, no one, but that is like logic, that you are deserving it, and something that is going to build your life for the next 30 years. So people are avoided from very basic things, that this is so much injustice in life. And this is a place or a chance to make here some justice, and hopefully not revenge, just to take advantage of the gates that are going to fall, to liberate ourselves. Well,
yes,
man,
exactly.
we are in touch. Lovely seeing you.
Exactly, man. Thanks.